Hello, Kurt. Hi, can you hear
Hi,
me now?
Jessica. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, can you see me too?
Yeah, yes, I can see you as well. We'll give everyone just maybe one more minute to log on. Do you want to go ahead and see if you can get your screen pulled up just as a test?
Yeah, let me share screen. Oh, it says it's disabled for participant screen sharing.
Oh, I'll fix that. Hold on. Okay, there we go. That should have fixed it.
There we go. Let me click share. And then let me know if you see that.
Yes. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, perfect.
All right, let me see how many people we've got.
How is your day going?
It's good. How's your Friday?
It's Friday. The best part of the week.
It is, I agree. I'll give it like one more minute and then I'll give you a little intro. You can leave this screen pulled up. That's just fine. That'll work.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started if you're ready, Kurt.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'll mention just briefly, this event is part of our Geek Out About series. We are holding virtual events each month where we do a deep dive into a particular topic. The topics aren't all related, but the common theme is that we're going to just really dig into them with a panel of experts who will talk about the topic for that month. So next month on March 12th, we have Geek Out about home maintenance. So we're going to talk about like things you might be able to fix on your own without hiring someone, common things you should be doing just to keep your house running as smoothly as it can. So the people on that Zoom call have like, I don't know, probably 50 years of experience between them. So definitely bring your tough house questions for them. On April 9th, we're going to have Geek Out about planting trees. I'm excited about this one. I think a lot of people in the area probably want to plant new trees after the derecho last year. So we're going to find out what the best trees would be, what's good for the climate of the Midwest, and that kind of thing. On May 14th, we have Geek Out about grilling with Grillworks in Marion. So Lisa with Grillworks is going to do a live demo, which should be a lot of fun. Since a lot of people, I think, already know kind of the basics of grilling, we're going to go a little beyond that and talk about like how to smoke cheese and how to do some fun different stuff on the grill. And then in June, we have Geek Out about computer safety, where the City of Marion IT department is going to talk about things you should be doing and also ways to keep kids safe online. So For today, we have Kurt with Alliant Energy, who is going to talk about saving energy in the home. And this is something I'm always curious about, so I'm really excited to hear about this. Throughout the event, just put any questions in the chat box and I'll keep an eye on it, and I can ask Kurt to pause and expand on something anytime. So Kurt, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it. It's always a great opportunity to sit down and talk with people about how they can save energy and more so be comfortable with it as well, because that really is what it's all about, being comfortable in your home. And so what I'm going to talk to you about today are some easy energy saving ideas. I'm always going to try to lean it towards low cost, no cost. Because that's what we all like to do, right? That's where we want to save the most for the least amount. I know that's how I am, and especially with COVID this last year, how we could have seen how that has impacted our home energy bills, I'm sure, if everyone's staying home. So I will tell you a little bit about myself real quick before moving on. But again, I'm Kurt Sempf. I'm the portfolio manager for home products and services at Alliant Energy. I'm also the strategy manager for energy efficiency. Then my email address is there on the screen for you. So if your question doesn't get answered, or you have another question that comes up later, please feel free to give me an email and I'll do my best to get back to you and give you the answer you're looking for. I joined Alliant Energy in 2016, but I have been writing and the field producer for Alliant Energy's Powerhouse since 2009. So every episode of Powerhouse, if you're familiar with that, that's Pete Cipher and Megan Turner, who it airs on KCRG TV9 every Saturday at 5 o'clock. They give you energy efficiency ideas, tips, and things that you can do to keep your house more energy efficient and save money and be comfortable while doing it. And then I'm also a board member with the Iowa Association for Energy Efficiency, where we are trying to expand energy efficiency to everyone within the state. If you want to learn more about the IAEE, just go to iowaenergy.org and you can find out what our mission is there. So for now, I'm going to go through 7 quick tips, low cost, no cost, that'll help you save energy and money and keep you comfortable in doing it. These are my favorite topics that I cover with people who ask me, how can I save energy? Or if we're out shooting with Powerhouse, how can you save energy with some of these things? And these are the quickest, easiest ways to save money and then also save energy at the same time. So number one, and you've probably heard this all the time, it's change out your 5 most used light bulbs in your house for LED bulbs. Now, you can save up to 8% on your energy bill if you do that. And that is going from an incandescent light bulb, the old filament light bulbs that heat up. If you change out 5 of those most used bulbs with LEDs, you're going to save up to 8%. Change out more, you'll save more. If you are changing out from a CFL, you know, the little curly Q fluorescent light bulbs that are energy efficient as well, you're going to save not as much, maybe around 4%. But there's some things you need to know about LED bulbs. Get the kind that are rated Energy Star. That's that blue label on the screen. If you go to the store and get an LED bulb that doesn't have that Energy Star logo on it, sometimes it's all in black, it may not last up to 15,000 hours or more. Energy Star does testing on LED bulbs and makes sure that those bulbs do what they say they're going to do. And also, LEDs come in all different varieties of colors and everything, so make sure you're getting what you want. It could be very bright or more of a yellowish color. So there is a lot more choice when it comes to LEDs, but they will save you that money, that energy. Also, there's another logo on your screen that says Be Bright. If you are in a territory that Alliant Energy serves, at like a Walmart, a Lowe's, or a Menards, if you go into the LED aisle and see that logo next to a light bulb, you're going to know that it's Energy Star, and you're also going to know that we have bought that LED down a little bit. So we've paid a couple dollars to the vendor to make that cost a little less. So, and you know you're getting an Energy Star bulb. So if you use those LED bulbs, that's going to save you energy. And one of the neatest ways that I think you can see how LEDs work is every year Alliant Energy helps out with the Festival of Trees in downtown Cedar Rapids. Obviously that didn't happen this year. But what we do is we string a Christmas tree with LED light bulbs. And so the example here is that this tree has 265 feet of LED bulbs on it. If that was an incandescent string, if those were all of the older type of light bulbs, it would have been around 1,925 watts to power that tree, and it would have cost you $52 during that Christmas season, 5 hours a day for the 30 days around December. If those were LED bulbs, it would have only been 38 watts of power to power that light bulb, to power that tree, and it would have only cost you $1.04 in that. So you can really see money-wise how that ends up being different between the incandescent bulbs and the LED bulbs.
Now, Kurt, I often see on those, like that they'll advertise they last up to, maybe even 25 years. That always, from a consumer perspective, seems a little inflated. What's your opinion on that? Is that real?
I think it can be, especially if they're Energy Star rated and maybe they're not outside bulbs going through the heat and the cold. LEDs are pretty subjective to heat. So in the summertime, they might not work as well if it's really hot outside. But in the wintertime, you might see a flicker going on. I know some of the LED bulbs I have outside, I'll notice a flicker happening. So it really depends. For the most part, they will last that long, but it's not going to be like true quality LED bulbs won't just turn off unless they have a defect with them. What they'll do is they'll get dimmer over time, or they'll start changing color hues, maybe not be as bright a white, but a dimmer white. And so you'll start noticing that maybe that brightness with the bulbs are going away. But it will last quite a while. All right. So my next thing on my favorite list is install a smart thermostat. This can be kind of controversial in a way. There are a lot of people that don't like to have the smart thermostats in their homes. They don't like to think that people like Google or even Alliant are watching what they're doing. But they really do save a lot of energy for you. I installed a Nest thermostat in my house, and I did notice a significant drop in my monthly bill. And what you got to do is you've got to set the parameters on those thermostats on the high end and low end where you want it to heat up to or cool down to, and it'll start to learn your behavior. It'll keep track of when you turn it up or turn it down and at what time of the day that it's happening. And it'll start to learn that behavior and do that for you. We like to say you can save up to 12% on your energy bill. You can control it remotely with your phone. And Alliant Energy and other utilities, if you're in a different utility area, they may offer rebates to buy down the cost of a smart thermostat. We offer $100 for a qualified thermostat, which would be a Nest or an Ecobee or an Emerson. They have sensors that know when you're home, so they're called occupancy sensors. They don't just depend on your phone knowing when your phone is in the area. The smart thermostat also allows you to take part in other programs that some utilities may offer. I'll do a shameless plug for something we're getting ready to launch, where we have we call it a smart thermostat program, where on those really hot days, if you want to participate in the program, we will help keep you within the parameters of your that you have set for your thermostat, so you're not using energy more than you normally would. We would work with Google, we would work with Ecobee in order to do this. And participating in the program gets you a $50 rebate and then another $25 incentive at the end of the year when you're taking part in that. But what it ends up doing is it cools down your home a little earlier in the morning, so you don't really notice that change in comfort through the day. And that's the smart thermostat. Are there any questions about smart thermostats in particular? All right, I will move on. I'm sorry, what was that, Jessica?
None in the chat box yet.
Okay, sounds good. Another easy thing you can do is search for air leaks in your home. What I have up here are the two different versions of how you can search for those air leaks. It's a high-tech and low-tech version. If you have access to a heat gun that looks at your windows and shows where leakage may be happening, the blue on the screen with that heat gun shows where air is leaving the home. If you don't have access to that, you can get an incense stick and start it up and see how the smoke is maybe moving around your doors. That's around a door jamb that you see on the right. And then my favorite is always just put your hand down by an outlet, by a light switch, by a door frame, and just see if you feel that cold air moving in and out. You may have noticed more of that in the past few days when it's been so cold outside. And just as an example of that, this door, the red line down the side of the door, that represents a 1/8 of an inch by 6 foot air leak that is equal to that red square in the door. So if you just imagine that door had a hole in it, the size of that red square, that's how much air is escaping through that little 1/8 of an inch leak in that door that runs from top to bottom. So if you plug that up, you're going to save 20% of your heating and cooling costs right there just by stopping air leaks. And it's good for the summertime too, because you don't want to cool the outside. I'm sure you've heard that before, but you don't want to heat the outside in the wintertime either. So some of the things you can grab are real simple around outlets and switch plates. These are like 50 cents to maybe 80 cents in the store at Menards. They're little things that you take the plate off and put it behind the plate and then screw it back in. It's like little styrofoam inserts for the outlet and light switch gaskets that help stop leaking air through there. Weather stripping, that's always good. That would be good to seal that 1/8 of an inch gap in the door to keep that air in tight. And then there's door sweeps that you put at the bottom of your door that might slide on underneath your door or attach to the inside of your door to keep that air from going in and out. And then always, Pete Cipher, he's a fan of caulk. He always has one of those guns and helps seal up the windows in the shows that we do. If you know there's a little crack where the window is meeting the seal, you can put that sealant in there and that'll stop that up nice and easy there and keep that home as tight as possible in the winter and the summer times. And that's going to save you some money, quite a bit there. Number 4, this is something that we're seeing a lot of recently, actually. If you have a spare refrigerator or a spare freezer and you don't use it that much, it's costing you about $115 annually just to have that plugged in and keep it cold, and keep it ready for you to go. If you want to save that money, just unplug it, recycle it. If you don't know how to get rid of it, don't take it to the dump. Give us a call. We'll come out and pick it up for you, and we'll give you $50 for it. You can recycle over 90% of a refrigerator. The things you can't recycle are going to be like the oil and the mercury that are in the switches inside, but we dispose of them in an incinerator. Our group that works with us out of Marion, actually, it's Clear Result at Recycling in Marion. They will come out and do that. We even have what we're seeing, and this is kind of an interesting side fact. So you see that nice avocado green refrigerator that's on your screen. That's still the type of refrigerators that we're seeing that we're getting picked up from our customers. Last year, we recycled about, give or take a few hundred, about 6,000 refrigerators. When we started doing this about 15 to 20 years ago, we were seeing the much older refrigerators from the 50s and the 60s. Now we're starting to see the refrigerators from the late 70s into the 80s is what we're seeing. A lot of the refrigerators past the late 90s and into the 2000s are pretty energy efficient. When we start seeing those pop up more often, we may not recycle as much. But if you still have one of those older refrigerators and you just don't know what to do with it and you don't want to take it out to the dump and dump it in the landfill, give us a call and we'll recycle that for you. Number 5, this is a quick and easy thing. It's taking a home assessment or having a home audit. Some of you may remember, but you may have taken part in it. Alliant Energy used to offer an in-person home assessment. We no longer do that as of 2019, but there are places out in Iowa that will still come to your home and do an in-person assessment. You just have to Google home audit Eastern Iowa and they will pop up. They will charge you anywhere between $200 and $800 to come out, walk through your home, and tell you how your energy is being used. Our favorite alternative right now is to take a free online assessment. And even if you're not a customer of Alliant Energy, you can take this assessment as a guest. It will still give you the basics of how your home is using energy and what you can do to help fix that. Some of the costs that'll help show you what you could save will be based on Alliant Energy, but it's still a good tool that you can use. And you can go there anytime, just alliantenergy.com/home assessment and take that quiz. And I'll show you some examples of what that quiz looks like. This may be a little small for you, but what it does is it pulls up a screen for you and you just start answering the questions that are in front of you. From left to right on your screen, it's asking you what type of home it is. This person is selected as a single family home in green. Does it have a garage, yes or no? In the middle of the screen, it's going to ask you its size, how many stories, basic information that you would know about your home. They're all pretty simple questions, and you just click on the answer to respond. It stops about 12 questions in, and you could get your report at that moment, or you could continue on for another maybe 15 sheets of questions to answer more specific questions about your home. And when you do that, you'll get a report as well. It'll just be a little more detailed. And so the report you get when you're done taking this is it's going to show you what is forecasted to use the most energy inside your home. And it breaks it down based on what you've entered into the profile. And then it also shows you what you might be looking at for energy usage over the next year. And then also, based on how you filled out those questions, it's going to give you some quick and easy ideas on how you can save energy. So this first one over to the right is using free heat sources to stay warm. Saying you could save up to $198. Some of that might be making sure that you're letting the sun in on south-facing windows and doing stuff like that. Using hot water in the kitchen or bathroom, you make sure that it reaches the temperature before you drain it out. So it's just simple, easy things in there. Sealing air ducts, stuff that you can do, and it might show you what you can do to save that energy. And number 6, this one is really the most important because it's how we all use energy. It's all about being comfortable, right? So you need to understand your energy behavior. In order to do that, you can save energy just by knowing how you use energy. So for an example for that is if you prefer your heat at 70 degrees or do you prefer it at 67 degrees? Changing that by 1 degree would save you 1% for if you kept that changed for 8 hours a day. So, it's the difference between 67 and 68 degrees or 70 degrees and 69 degrees. If that little difference doesn't affect you that much, maybe do that. That's going to save you a little bit of money. Also, do you wash your clothes during the day or at night? If you do it at different times of day, utilities offer a time of use rate or a time of day. Some of them call them nights and weekends, where basically the energy that's used in the evening and weekends is half the cost of the energy that's actually more than half the cost of energy that's used during the day, during what we call peak time. Peak hours that could be charged at almost 1.5 times the normal rate. So depending on when you use that energy on this rate, you're either going to save or you're going to spend more money, especially if you're using more of that energy during the day. And that's where with COVID, if everyone is home during the day, you may have seen a lot of spikes, a lot of increases in energy demand, especially if you were on a time of use rate.
Yeah, I've never heard of that actually. I was just thinking, yeah, I've been, throwing a load in the wash when I'm working from home and doing all kinds of stuff that I didn't used to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It really does. If you're on that type of rate, it really depends on when you use that energy, where it really adds up. And one of the ways you can see that is at alliantenergy.com/my account. If you're an Alliant Energy customer and have a My Account login, if you log in, click on My Profile, and then it drops down a list and click on My Home, you're going to get to another area that shows you how your behavior may be influencing how your energy use is happening. So it takes you to a new screen, which it compares your home compared to other homes that are similar to yours. So if we know your home is 2,500 square feet, 2 stories, built in 1990, has 5 people living in it, we're going to compare you to similar homes like that to show how your home might be using energy. In this case, the home is using more than what the average home would use, a lot more. So it gives you an idea that, oh, okay, so maybe my behavior might be different from what other people are like similar in my home. It'll also give you an idea of what you can look to spend in the next several months. So, and it forecasts out for March, April, and May what your estimated bill might be. Or if you had a goal set, you wanted to lower it to a different 15% of that, you could drop it down. And then it also shows you what your predicted energy use for the next month might be. In this home, this individual, they have a hot tub. So they're seeing right there that hot tub is 35% of their bill, of their projected bill in March. So if that bill is getting too high, you might want to consider, well, maybe a hot tub isn't the thing to have in there. But if you like the hot tub, you know that's where your energy is going. And this is all estimated based on what we know about your home. And if what we know about your home is wrong, like it's not 2,500 square feet, it's actually 1,800 square feet, you can go in and change that and update it and make sure that this program is a little more specific, a little more accurate, just by clicking on the gray box there that says update my home profile. And you can go through and list how many people live in your home, how many TVs you have, how many computers you have, if you have a hot tub or not. In this same area, you can also look back at your energy use over the last year. So you can see where you use the most energy in which month and maybe what you need to watch out for going forward. You can toggle between, it says electricity up there now, but you could toggle that down to cost. So you get an idea of how much cost that was in that particular month. And then you also see what the outdoor temperature was at the time of where you use that energy use. You also have the ability to enter a savings goal, 5, 10, or 15% to help lower your cost. And if you can reach that goal, then you can see there how much CO2 they're looking to save in that year. And what's that like? It's estimated to drive 2,000 miles in a year if that car got 25 miles per gallon, if you save that 15% in energy. That's what that equivalency would be. And then finally, it shows again what your home energy use is like, what's using the most energy in that home for your annual savings. So you can see that this person spends most of their energy with the hot tub, secondly in the kitchen. And then finally on this area, it also gives you, to help reach that goal of 15% energy savings, it gives you more ideas on what you can do to save energy, similar to what that home assessment was going to generate for you. If you wanted a different cooling temperature, if you wanted to enable energy saving, energy management in your computer, what that might cost, what that might save. And finally, I can't not put in a plug for Powerhouse. If you're wanting to know energy saving and comfort tips, all you got to do is watch it on Saturday nights at 5 o'clock on KCRG, or you can go to YouTube or powerhousetv.com, and you can sift through all the videos that we've done, probably the last 20 years worth up on YouTube, with different ideas and different parts of what you can do for energy. Anything from installing geothermal, installing energy saving windows, and then again, doing it yourself, how you would fix those air leaks and stuff like that. But with that, I'll say thank you. And if you've got some questions for me, I'd love to try and answer them.
Yeah, pop any questions in the chat, and I'll ask one real quick, just to give anybody a moment to do that. If there were a graph of kind of the most common mistakes, kind of like how you showed a graph of where your energy is being used, if there were a graph like that, what might it look like? Is it like door leaks at the top, followed by, you know what I mean? I'm kind of trying to understand what the most common ones are.
Yeah, yeah. I would say the most common way to save energy is with weatherization techniques. So it's going to be insulation. It's going to be making sure you have the insulation in your attic that you need, making sure that in your basement where the foundation meets your walls, that there's not any gaps there, because making sure that there's insulation in there, and then those air leaks. So weatherization is always the best thing to do first, because once you do that, you know that you've got a tight seal in your home. You can start saving that energy and maybe adjusting that thermostat a little bit more, because you can adjust the thermostat all you want, and if you don't have the right insulation or the right seal on your home, you're going to be heating that outside during the winter or cooling that outside during the summer. So that's always the first step, is to try and get that weatherization as tight as possible to help you save that, and then you move on to the next thing. Then it turns into behaviors after that, right? Keeping the lights off in rooms you're not in, keeping that thermostat set in different areas. That's where it goes after that.
We've got two questions. This one's kind of related. Is there a better way to insulate sliding doors to make them more energy efficient?
Sliding doors, probably. That's really going to come down to a couple different things. One is how the framing was done. So if you were to feel around the framing, make sure you're not feeling that cool air. If you are, do some of that sealant, that caulk around the frame. Where it's sliding, it's probably maybe putting in some of that weather stripping alongside, so there's a little tighter seal between the glass that slides inside the other glass. So there's a little more, if that's where you're feeling the air coming out. It really has to be with, and especially now is a good time to check, because you're going to feel that cold air, especially with this really cold temperature. So the glass itself, depending on the type of sliding glass door you have, if it's older and is not as energy efficient, they do have some clear film that you can purchase at places like Lowe's and Menards, that you can put on the glass, and it's like they call it E resistance film, I believe, and it helps trap that heat in if it's inside, or if it's the sun shining in, it might help let that through. They have different forms of it, but you can put that on the glass itself. It may not help too much, but it's one way that you can get it on there and hopefully help out. Otherwise, it's really about sealing those air leaks and making sure that air is staying inside, rather than that conditioned air is inside rather than leaking outside.
Yeah, definitely. Another question was, how much savings would unplugging small appliances, like over the course of a year, how much would you say by unplugging like a toaster, coffee maker, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so that kind of goes to the point of phantom energy, and I didn't touch on that, and I probably should have. That would have been a good one to have. So anything like a TV set, DVR, computer, anything that you see a little light on, that is saying it's ready to go, that's all pulling energy out of your home. It's what we call that standby level, and that's about, I believe the last time we looked, that was about 8% of your total bill is where that's at. It's always helpful on anything that you can plug into an advanced power strip that can control that phantom energy usage. So like phone chargers and things like that, they have an advanced power strip, have different places on the strip that you can plug into. One is like a control plug, and the rest are all controlled by that plug. So if you were to plug your TV into the control plug and turn your TV on, then everything else plugged into that power strip would turn on with your TV. So if you had like video games or stuff like that always want to turn on when you have your TV on, then you would have that in the strip. So once you turn your TV on, then the power comes on to those other items. But when the TV's off, then those other items aren't drawing on that phantom energy. It's very small, but it tends to, what we're seeing is it's adding up more because more people have phone chargers and stuff plugged in all the time. Even if your phone's not plugged into that phone charger, that adapter that's in your wall is drawing a little bit of energy, not much. I mean, it's very minuscule. But if you have a lot of those up all around your house, eventually at some point, it's gonna add up. It's like saving pennies is what we're talking about, but it does have an impact.
Makes sense. Well, that's all the questions for now. Thanks so much for talking
Okay.
to us, Kurt, and thanks for putting your email up there if people have follow-up questions to think of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if anyone has any questions afterwards or wants to follow up on anything I've said, please give me an email. I'll get back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Kurt, and thanks everybody for joining us today.
Thank you. Have a good day.